Ravens, y'all got to chill out. I ain't even finished waking up yet. But anyway, about a month ago, Rashod Bateman tweeted out, "Know your worth." And a lot of us were thinking like, oh my goodness, what does this mean? Because we know it got something to do with football. Because Rashod Bateman, when he tweets out something, it got something to do with football. We were thinking, oh my goodness, is he getting ready to get traded? Are they trying him with some weak contract offer? Like, what's happening with Rashod Bateman? Because we just simply didn't know. And then a couple of weeks after that, it came out that the Dallas Cowboys tried to acquire Rashod Bateman from the Baltimore Ravens. But before them talks even got started, Ravens shut it down. And that said a lot to us because we were like, oh man, the Ravens, like, they really got love and respect for Rashod Bateman. And Eric DeCosta, even the previous year, last season, he said, hey, we're bullish on Rashod Bateman. And initially, I didn't really believe him. But then when they signed him to a contract extension, I said, oh, okay, I guess they really are bullish on Rashod Bateman. So Eric DeCosta said, you know what? We going back to back with this thing, baby. So it just came out in breaking news that happened like 10 minutes ago, well, maybe about 30 minutes ago by the time you've seen this video. The Baltimore Ravens are yet again signing Rashod Bateman again to a contract extension. Boy, they love that boy Bateman, don't they? And Bateman, like last year, he gave them a lot of reasons to love him. Let's read the details of the deal. So this is a 3-year, $36,750,000 deal with $20 million in guarantees. So that boy Rashod Bateman, he's getting a nice little pay raise. And this averages out to $12.25 per year, $12.25 mil per year. Still got to look for some more details on it just to get the exact figures on that deal and how it coincides with the deal that he previously had. Oh, all right, here we go. Brian McFarland, shout out to him. See, this is what I was waiting for. Brian McFarland, who takes care of, or who puts us on with all the Ravens salary cap stuff. He said that, as reported, this will be a 3-year extension on the 2 remaining years of his present deal. So he'll be under contract for 5 years at $47.5 mil. That's $10.7 mil from the old deal plus $36.75 mil for the new 3 years. So let's do the math together while we here right now. Let's see what that averages out to, because really it's still looking like a steal. Like Ravens already had Rashod Bateman at a steal, and this seems like it's still going to be a steal. So we'll take that $47.5 mil, because that's the total of the deal, divided by 5, and $9.5 mil per year. $9.5 mil per year. And I think that's how many touchdowns like Rashod Bateman had last year too. He had 9 touchdowns, I believe. So he's getting paid per touchdown. But anyway, with Rashod Bateman, the fact that the Baltimore Ravens, like, he's a first-round draft pick, and they had high hopes for him. The way that his career started, it didn't start off flash. It didn't start off with a bang because first he got hurt, and then when he got healthy, him and Lamar, they were clicking like that, but then Lamar got hurt, and then all this, it was just a mess. And then it took a couple years to really get stuff going, and then they brought in Odell Beckham Jr., and it was like, oh, what's Rashod Bateman's role really going to be? He's going to be like a number 3 receiver or whatnot. But then last year, when they were like, all right, hey, Rashod, it's on you. Zay Flowers, it's on you. Y'all are going to be our number 1 and number 2 receivers. But they ended up being really 1A and 1B, because while Zay Flowers got most of the targets, Rashod Bateman, he got most of the touchdowns. So they worked hand in hand. It was a beautiful combination. We can't wait to see that 1C receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, too. But DeAndre, this ain't about you right now. This is about our guy, Rashod Bateman. So with that being said, they really put a lot on Rashod Bateman last year. And for the most part, he did live up to those expectations. And he really blew expectations out of the water. And the Baltimore Ravens are like, look, we always talk about how the Baltimore Ravens, they like to get ahead of stuff rather than behind it. There was a lot of question marks, people wondering like, man, all right, hey, Zay Flowers, his contract situation is coming up very, very soon. And we know that with the Baltimore Ravens, they're not a team that pays that big-time money to wide receivers. And while they are signing Rashod Bateman to a contract extension, cool. But this is not the top market wide receiver money like we've been seeing them wide receivers get paid. So again, Ravens are getting Rashod Bateman for a steal. And I think this is Rashod Bateman, another way of him actually thanking the Ravens. This is his way of almost repaying the Ravens for being like, you know what? Y'all stuck with me. Because Rashod Bateman, he didn't have to take this contract. He could have been chilling at the contract that he already had. He could have stayed with that and been like, you know what? I'm going to ride this out. And then when I become a free agent in a couple years, oh, yeah, we about to run it up then. But Baltimore, they agreed to, hey, we're going to sign Rashod Bateman to a contract extension now. Rashod Bateman obviously agreed to it. He agreed to the terms. He said, all right, I'm cool with it. Because he could have got more in the future. In the near future, too, because his previous contract went to 2026. So he could have got even more on the market in free agency. But the fact that Rashod Bateman is doing this deal, which is really taking less to stay with the Baltimore Ravens, says a lot about him. Says a lot about how much he loves this team. Says a lot about really how much they love him too. And we talked about this when the news first broke about the Cowboys trying to acquire Rashod Bateman, because he was their first option before George Pickens. They were like, oh, George Pickens, Rashod Bateman, that's who we want first. So they hit up the Ravens. And EDC, no thanks. No, nope. No need, nope. That's our guy. So EDC has continuously, especially when it comes to Rashod Bateman, EDC has literally put his money where his mouth is. He hasn't just been all talk about Rashod Bateman. He hasn't just been, oh yeah, we really like that guy. That's one of our guys. We really love Rashod Bateman. We would love for him to be a no. He's putting the action behind all of those words. And now Rashod Bateman is here to stay for even, I was about to say the long term, but yeah, an even longer term. Because again, we had him to 2026, but now it's a 5-year deal in total. So shout out to EDC and shout out to the Baltimore Ravens for getting this done. Now, back to what we were saying about Zay Flowers, because Zay Flowers, he's entering his third year. This will be his third year. So after this season, Zay Flowers will be eligible for a contract extension. Now, we know Baltimore Ravens, like we were saying earlier, they don't sign wide receivers, especially ones that they draft, or really any wide receivers, really. The Odell Beckham Jr., that deal, that was an outlier because he signed a 1-year, $15 million deal, or 1 year, $18 million. It was worth up to $18 million deal because there was still $3 million in incentives. Odell Beckham, I think he got one of those incentives, so he got 1 year, $16 million, I believe. But anyway, his deal was an outlier. That was not the norm. But Baltimore Ravens don't typically sign wide receivers to big money. Zay Flowers just changed his agency. He just changed his representation because after this year, it's contract negotiating time. It can start. Ravens have the option to where they could pick up the 5th-year option if they choose, or they could just decline it. They could sign him to a contract extension early, or they could wait it out. But this gives them sort of, and again, we don't like saying, but it gives them an insurance policy. It's like, all right, we got Rashod Bateman, and we'll see what happens with Zay Flowers. So hopefully they can keep everybody. Because y'all know me, I want everybody to stay. Everybody to stay, especially them Florida Ravens, but I want everybody to stay. But this is just yet another example of the Baltimore Ravens getting ahead of the game. And so many people have talked about over the years, with the Baltimore Ravens, when you think they're going to zig, they end up zagging. When you playing chess, they're playing checkers. Because they do a lot of opposite stuff. Because we'll be thinking one thing, but they'll hit us with a swerve. And it's like, Ravens, where y'all be coming with this stuff from? Well, the only thing that they didn't swerve us with was Malachi Starks. A lot of people expected them to get Malachi Starks. A lot of people talked about them getting Malachi Starks. Then they end up getting Malachi Starks. But anyway, besides that, Ravens really be doing their own thing. Because a lot of us expected Mark Andrews to be gone. We heard the talks, we heard the rumors and stuff, and we heard the way that EDC spoke about Mark Andrews. We thought he was going to be out of it. Nope. He's still here. But nobody, I don't think there was not one single person that saw a Rashod Bateman contract extension being signed. So shout out to Rashod again, because he could have got more, but he's sticking around. And Rashod Bateman last season, he showed himself. Just going over them numbers again from Rashod Bateman. He had, nine touchdowns. So shout out to that boy, got 9 touchdowns. But he also had 45 catches for 756 yards. And see, the thing about those numbers is that they don't even tell the whole story about Rashod Bateman. His numbers could have been more. There was some games where, I know there was the Eagles game where he left, didn't come back. He got hurt. He was dealing with something. There was the Bills game, the playoff game, where he left, got hurt, didn't come back. He was dealing with something. And so Rashod Bateman's numbers, they could have been better. And obviously the playoff game, though, that's a different set of numbers. But still, so last year was just not necessarily his rookie year, but that was like really his coming out party last season. So I would expect Rashod Bateman to be even better this year. Another year in Todd Monken's system. Another year with Lamar Jackson. Another thing I remember last year in OTAs. That's why I cannot ever tell anybody to, when it comes to OTAs, oh, calm down. Don't get hyped. Don't get excited over OTAs. Because a lot of that stuff can translate. Hey, sometimes it don't, though. Sometimes it don't, but sometimes it does. Last year, I remember, I will never forget it. I don't remember what date it was, but I remember it was OTAs, and there were reporters tweeting out, oh, man, Lamar Jackson, he really connected with Rashod Bateman on some deep passes. He really building chemistry with Rashod Bateman. That chemistry is looking good. And a lot of us, we got excited. We were like, oh, yeah, hey, that's good. Let's go, baby. Even though it was OTAs. We were getting excited about it. We were getting hyped about it because we know that their chemistry previously had been off. But guess what happened? OTAs, their chemistry was building, and then guess what happened in the regular season? We saw it literally from the first game of the season in Kansas City. Especially with the game on the line, Lamar Jackson went deep to Rashod Bateman. And Rashod Bateman brought us all the way to what, the 5-6 yard line? And then, of course, the rest of that garbage happened. But anyway, Rashod Bateman and Lamar Jackson's chemistry was through the roof last year, for the most part. There was on that interception where he stopped on it, but it's all good. It happens. And then there was a playoff one, too. But anyway, for the most part, their chemistry, it was up, man. It really was. So now, with that last year under their belt, this offseason, they get to continue moving forward with the process. Again, Zay Flowers talked about, hey, Lamar Jackson want to do even more offseason stuff, more outside the facility stuff, getting the guys together and whatnot. Just, again, continuing to show that leader that he has been already, but him just taking it to a whole nother level. So now when Rashod Bateman's going to be in Baltimore for the long haul now, still, then they can just keep going up from here. So this is a beautiful thing. We happy for Rashod Bateman. We happy for Lamar Jackson because he get to keep one of his guys. And we happy that the Baltimore Ravens, they secured this, they locked this up because they got a good receiver who ain't even shown his best work yet.